All right, ladies and gentlemen, back to your regularly scheduled program. So, last video I made, I said I was getting better from being sick. Apparently, I got sick again right after that, so I'm still kind of miserable and recovering. But I had a very long conversation with a guy on YouTube, going back and forth talking about how reckoning works. At first, he was very confused about how reckoning worked, so I did my best to re-explain it. He went and did some testing, and then eventually, after the course of a few days of back and forth, he eventually claimed that what is it? That um, if I have my auto attack turned on and I'm in combat, which is what is happening to this paladin right here, which is where I'm at with this paladin right here. My auto attack is literally just turned on. We're going to see this once it stops healing. So if I just leave my auto attack on and I just start attacking the enemy, holy crap, can we get a section where I'm not having to heal myself? And if I just leave my auto attack on, what he's saying is when I get a reckoning charge, it'll apply it instantly, it'll consume it instantly, but it'll reset my auto attack timer in a bad way. Now, this is how it used to be in Classic World of Warcraft. Let's see if we can find it where it is again. It's right here, I think. Yeah. It's around here somewhere. Yeah. The angry comment. Okay, that's where we want to be. All right. Now that's how it used to be back in the day before the current charge system was implemented. What happened back in 2019 was that the player base, and by the player base I mean me and Drakova, found a way to basically break Reckoning. And so Blizzard, by using a stop-start attack macro, and Blizzard basically tried a bunch of things in rapid succession to fix Reckoning, eventually settling on this weird, convoluted, um, like charge assignment system that is currently in place. But one thing I've known for years that the charge system, the assignment system doesn't do is it doesn't reset your auto attack in a bad way. He thinks it does. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I have to get up off my ass when I'm no longer sick and go test it. I did just test it. Turns out it's not resetting our auto attack whatsoever. I'll prove that here in a hot second with the visual data. Sat here for a good, 5 minutes getting beat on by these two jackasses until I finally got the back-to-back crits for the visual data that I would actually need. Examined it, blah, 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 blah. But just so we're absolutely clear, I'm going to go over how Reckoning works again in Classic World of Warcraft, just so we're all on the same page. And we can, because in the other videos, I'll tell people how they work, but it's just me, telling them and then trying to show them in game. Sometimes you just need a far more simplistic visual aid, and that's what we're going to be doing right here. Okay, so I need come to think of it, I need an icon to use when my physical attack is active. We'll use an arrow. Okay, so we're going to use this icon for when my melee attack is active versus when it's turned off. Okay, and we'll set that aside right over here temporarily. All right, so how does Reckoning work? Well, to begin with, it really depends on if your auto attack is turned on or off. I could probably get in the game and showcase that really fast, just so we're leaving nothing to the imagination here. As a general rule, as a paladin, I'm going to tell you how Reckoning works, but I'm going to tell you how to avoid all the crazy mechanics that we're talking about right now. So what any seasoned Reckoning player will do is we will spend about 90% of our time when we're playing Paladin, especially in PvP, with our auto attack turned off. Off. Auto attack off is your friend. We'll only turn it on when we're physically in melee with the enemy. Okay, so if you see right here, I'm running around. My auto attack is turned off. I can target this guy, so if I what is that? That is a left click on my mouse button. I can target these guys, but you'll notice that my character he doesn't have his auto attack turned off. His weapon is sheathed. Even if I unsheath it, it's just like this, right? If I right click the mob, however, my character goes into like this weird combat stance, right? I have now turned on my auto attack. This is what I mean by auto attack on, auto attack off. Okay? If I left click off into Narnia, so I left click out here. So if I right click this guy, we're lagging right now. Yes, we are. I know what lag looks like. Fuck you. So you can see my auto attack is turned off. If I left click on this stone over here, just off in the middle of nowhere, it'll turn off my auto attack. So on, off, on, off. Okay, just so we're clear. All right, because Reckoning works. Literally, I'll have the charges on me until I do this, and then all the charges will stop being on me and suddenly go on this guy. And then if I was to right-click to change my attack to this guy over here, like if I left-click and I stop attacking, my charges remain on this guy. But if I right-click any other guy and I turn my auto attack towards him, all the charges on this guy are lost, and I'm reset to having 0 charges on this guy. So it's a really convoluted system. If you literally just never turn on your auto attack unless you're in melee, then you will never actually notice how stupid this system actually is. Let's go back here really fast. Okay, so let's say I have my auto attack turned off and I'm just chilling right here. I should be able to control V and it should give me one of these. If I suffer a crit, I will get a Reckoning charge, and the Reckoning charge will stay on me. And this Reckoning charge will remain on me unless literally unless I either start a duel, or if I start a duel, the charges will disappear. If I exit a duel, my charges will disappear. And if I die, my charges will disappear. I think if I activate a Flight Master, my charges will disappear. But and if I log out of the game, my charges will disappear. Under any other circumstances, however, the charges will remain on your Paladin. So you can mount, you can ride around, you can do whatever the hell that you want. Possibly, I think if I enter an instance, my charges disappear. Don't quote me on that. But for all extents and purposes, the charges are on me until I literally assign them to something by activating my auto attack. Okay. And of course, we can have up to 4 charges. Bada bing. Bada boom. And bada zing. All right, cool. So we can have up to 4 charges on us of Reckoning at any point in time. Now, how these charges get assigned is through the activation of the auto attack. So if I activate my auto attack, let's say on this guy over here, what happens is all the charges, and all this is invisible. You don't get to see this in the game. There isn't an add-on that will tell you how this works. Dracova, once upon a time, found a really good add-on, but I have no idea if it still works anymore, and I didn't bother with it because I have a brain, so it's like whatever. All of my charges, because I activated my auto attack, let's leave nothing to the imagination. Control C, Control V. I want to flip this thing upside down. Boom. So my auto attack has been activated here, and specifically my auto attack has been activated on this mob. All of my charges immediately get assigned to this mob over here. Okay? And they will be consumed the moment I enter melee. So the moment I get within melee range of this guy, all these charges will turn into free auto attacks on this mob. My basic auto attack will go off, and bada bang, you'll actually wreck bomb the guy. Okay? But if for whatever reason I decide to switch my auto attack target from being on this guy to being on another guy over here, all these charges that are currently assigned and not consumed on this guy over here, they fucking disappear. They're gone. And you're basically reset to 0. This will most often happen to you in PvP when you're trying to, like, you turn your auto attack on this guy, you're trying to chase after this guy, and the next thing you know, a rogue is chewing on your butt. And because it's a rogue, you physically can't make it to this mage or whatever. You want to wreck bomb. So you suddenly turn and start fighting this rogue behind you. You'll have no Reckoning charges whatsoever. That's usually where you will most notice it. So we are clear. If I control, is it Control Y? Nah, Control Y a few times. Control X. Control Z. Z removes shit. Oh yeah, okay, there we go. Alright, okay, cool. So let's go to the past really fast here. Okay, and one more Control Z. Yeah, boom. Okay. We don't want that. One more, there we go. So, how we get around this mechanic as a Paladin in PvP is we just never turn on our auto attack until we're physically in melee with the enemy. So we wait until we're physically in melee combat with our opponent, and only then will we turn on our auto attack. It'll be this, it'll be this, it'll be this. Boom, leave nothing to the imagination. So what happens in this instance is all my charges get assigned to this target and consumed into extra auto attacks instantaneously. And when I say instantaneously, I mean in like 0.01 seconds, and on or whatever the spell batch is in the game. And on top of that, it is coded to transpire before anything else transpires. So, for example, let's say I put a wreck bomb into the enemy, and my enemy ice blocks, and we do that at the exact same millisecond according to the game file, and those two things are batched together. It doesn't go ice block, then eat wreck bomb. It goes eat wreck bomb, then fucking ice block. So the guy, you'll see the ice block animation, and then the guy will fall over dead. Or he'll have a shit ton of damage, which is what we see in the previous videos that I made on this subject, right? With Drakova wreck bombing that that mage. He wreck bombed him. He got the wreck bomb through his ice block, but the mage ice blocked in time so that the judgment bounced off his ice block. So there's some interesting coding behind that. But yeah, so moral of the story is if we're in melee, we can turn on our auto attack, but the moment, for whatever reason, we are out of melee, we have to turn off our auto attack. So for example, if there was a rogue that suddenly attacked me all of a sudden here, and this mage was like running off into Narnia, I would immediately turn off my auto attack versus this mage, and start stacking up reckoning charges again. So you have to be very mindful to turn off your auto attack. If you're not physically in melee with your enemy, do not turn on your auto attack, and you will never suffer these weird reckoning mechanics ever again. It'll never be like, basically the mistake you're making is you're turning on your auto attack at range. You're assigning all your reckoning charges to the range target, but you're not consuming them. And subsequently, you're making yourself vulnerable to any additional attacker attacking you, and you not having a wreck bomb to engage them with. So, moral of the story is only turn on your auto attack when you're physically in melee with the enemy, and if you're not physically in melee with the enemy, turn off your damn auto attack. Literally, it's that simple, and you'll never run into any of these convoluted reckoning mechanics ever again. Okay, so for example, I would not turn on my auto attack until I get to about here, and then I would turn on my auto attack and hit this guy, and if for whatever reason he got away from me, I would literally just turn off my auto attack. You can see my auto attack is off right now. If I do this, it's a mistake. My auto attack is on. You just wait till you get into melee and then turn on your auto attack. It's literally that simple, and you'll never run into any problems with reckoning ever, ever, ever. Okay, so let's go examine the pre-recorded visual information and confirm that reckoning charges are indeed not affecting our auto attacks. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to press play here. I'm going to do this very slowly because we need to start with an auto attack. The voice in game will bitch about something because I hadn't seen any crits for like a million years. So it should bitch at about 15 seconds. I'm looking at the timer over here. You see how it's 5 minutes, 14 seconds. So 5 minutes, 15 seconds, my basic bitch auto attack goes off, okay? I'm wielding a 3.8 speed weapon, I think, is Unstoppable Force. So my next auto attack should be at, like, you know, the late 18 second or the early 19 second mark here, right? 15 plus 3.8 should be about 19, give or take. But these guys are going to crit me before this. They're going to crit me multiple times in a row. Okay, so let's watch this. So my auto attack should be up soon. There's the two auto attacks from the enemy. Okay, so this swing that I'm doing right now is my auto attack. And the first way I can tell this is that I've started an attack animation, but there's no number over the head of the enemy. Let me take a drink of water here. This is 100% how your basic auto attacks work. Your auto attacks in Classic WoW have like a swing, a delayed swing timer to them. Make no mistake, my auto attack timer is ticking down. Okay, this swing animation takes about 0.3 seconds. This is your window to seal twist if you want to do any seal twisting, for the record. But my auto attack timer starts when this animation, or resets when this animation happens. It doesn't reset when the animation completes. So I'm like 0.2 seconds into my 3.8 swing timer. I've got like 3.6 seconds to go on my swing timer. If this was a Reckoning charge, it would be instant fucking taneous. Like there wouldn't even be an animation. A number would just pop out over these guys' heads immediately, which I think is what we're about to see. Okay, so we're at 18 seconds for this swing timer, which means we should see another swing at, I'm going to write this down because things are going to get a little hectic here. So we're at 15, 18, dash, dash, dash. We should be seeing another one at 15, add 3 point something. What was that, 21, 22, somewhere around 22-ish, is where we should see the next swing timer, mathematically speaking, with this visual data. But there's going to be a Reckoning charge that happens immediately. So I ate this Reckoning charge. Now, here's the fun fact, okay? This crit that I just took in this, that we're seeing right here, is actually the Reckoning. My auto attack has not even hit yet. How do I know this? Because if I speed it up by like a fraction of a second, you're going to see another number pop up. Okay, boom. So that Reckoning charge actually interrupted my auto attack, like from a visual standpoint or from a number standpoint at least. But you can see that the auto attack has not been reset or anything. It's still completing. But I was in the middle of doing the auto attack animation before it happened. So this 571 is actually the Reckoning charge. This 293 is actually my auto attack, because auto attacks are fucking instant. If you're in melee, it gives you a charge, it assigns it to the target, it consumes it, it's all instant fucking taneous. But I'm gonna get crit here again. All right, so this attack that's coming in, so you can see how my guy's starting his animation, is another Reckoning charge, because this guy crit me. So I think this is another Reckoning charge. My auto attack should be coming up very quickly. Remember, it was at 5 minutes, 22 seconds. You see down here, we're at 5 minutes and 21 seconds. So there should be another auto attack coming in here soon, which I think might be right here. Okay, boom. Boom. Okay, cool. Yeah, right on time at the 22-second mark. So you can see, despite all those Reckoning charges activating back to back to back, while I should be in the swing down timer, it's not affecting the swing timer on my Paladin whatsoever. We counted one auto attack swing there. We counted 2 Reckoning charges, and then my auto attack timer went off. And the entire sequence of events there should have gotten me, like, 4 attacks somewhere in that vicinity. It keeps going. So there's another crit. You can see it applies instantaneously. We're expecting another auto attack to be at like 26 seconds. If they keep critting me. Yeah, you can see my Paladin's doing weird animations, but you have to wait for the numbers. What's happening with his swinging animations here is that the Reckoning charges apply instantly, but they still ask the Paladin to do a swing animation. So you see the number pop above the enemy's head, and then there's a swing animation with like no numbers here. That swing animation it's the Reckoning charge swing animation. It just happens after the attack has already completed, which is why it looks kind of goofy, right? Let's see. Our next attack should be our next auto attack should be here momentarily, and there it is. Okay, so visually confirmed that the Reckoning charges, when our auto attack is turned on, are not affecting our swing timer in any way, shape, or form. You have to do it in this laborious pause, like frame by frame analysis, because parry haste is a thing, and you got to make sure that you're not getting any crazy parry haste during that whole sequence. I don't think I got any parry haste during that. I'm going to check it, though. I'm going to look over here and see if we see any parry. There's a miss. Yeah, not a single parry during that entire escapade. All right, so cool. So confirm that, no, your auto attack timer is just doing its thing normally. And I wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page as to how Reckoning works. Anyways, I'll end the video here, and Deus Vult.